What's going on, guys? Hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the one shift that you need to make that will make you a lot of money. Now, before I get to that, in the description below, you will see a link which will take you to a virtual walkthrough page of my program, the DM Academy. If you are not where you need to be inside of your affiliate marketing business, and you are short of 5 to 10K per month, then I want you to go to that virtual walkthrough and lock arms with me inside of my DM Academy, okay? Remember, in the description below. Now, what is this one shift that you need to make that will make you a lot of money? Now, I'm not talking to every single person here, right? Because some people, I believe, have been completely unplugged from what I refer to as the brainwash inside of the industry, all right? There's a lot of delusion that goes in alongside of the industry. Sorry, guys, just straighten up the camera there. And one of the big shifts that I didn't even need to make, it was just something for me that I've had throughout my whole life. I'm 38. At the time of recording this, I'm 38 years old. When I was 18, I started work in a call center, like cold calling, right? I did that for a number of years. When I first started it, absolutely hated it, right? Absolutely despised it. I remember phoning my best friend at the time on the day that I first started and was like, I have to get out of here. And I stuck it out. He kind of influenced me to stay in the job. And I remember getting my first sale and everyone started like clapping and cheering. And I really started getting a buzz for sales. And instead of going out, what I actually started doing was actually went to the library, got loads of books and I guess CDs at the time of sales. And I started learning it, started implementing it into my calls, and I got really good at sales over the phone. I won awards for sales within that center that I was working at. And then it got to a point where I was coaching people, managing my own team, and then there was an opportunity to actually run the whole call center. So I was doing like everything, right? From recruiting, firing to, liaising with clients and actually coaching the sales staff, and being solely responsible for performance. And we absolutely smashed it out the park. So when that kind of journey ended in 2019, when I was trying to make money online through all the typical ways of that are pushed in your face, when you haven't generated results, you have to brand yourself, you have to create content, build email lists, build funnels. I actually had this really good way of making money, which is through cold calling, right? And I'm not going to cold call online. So I was like, what's the next best thing? I was like, well, DMs. I'm just going to take that structure of how I spoke to people over the phone and just put that into DMs. I put it into DMs, made my first $100,000, right? 100K through no content, no branding, no funnels, no emails, just literally speaking to people one-on-one. And then from there, I started coaching people on my method. And then I started creating my own products. And then ultimately, what I was mentioning earlier, my DM Academy program was born. And, that's generated multiple six figures, and it's generated, thousands upon thousands every single month that goes out to my affiliates, right? Now, for me, when I talk about cold DMs and speaking about doing cold DMs, for someone who hasn't had my experience of seeing the benefit of actually speaking to a cold audience, knowing what to say and being able to convert them, essentially having a skill set, well, most people, what they do is they're brainwashed by the information that other people give them online, where they say it's not good to cold DM people. It's not good to follow up with people, or this idea of chasing people is not good. For me, all of that stuff is ingrained in me as just basic. That's basic fundamentals of running a business. And if I wasn't doing cold DMs when I was, bear in mind, I struggled online since 2016, right? 17, 18, 19. Then I rocked out DMs, and within the space of 3 weeks, I made my first sale. Just through rocking out exactly what I did in the call center, just in DMs. And this ain't no spammy nonsense. This isn't you're just messaging people random nonsense. There's a skill set to speaking to people. There's a structure of conversation. It's called a framework. I had that framework in the call center that I created, coached thousands of people on it over millions of calls. Then I just put it into the DM front in the affiliate marketing, make money online space, and I made a ton of money. And I continue to make a ton of money. People pay me a lot of money for my expertise because of that. So when people say who haven't walked even an inch of life within a cold, direct marketing basis and aren't generating any cash in doing what they're doing, or they're generating sporadic numbers, I say you've got to look at what you're specifically doing, what makes illogical and logical sense, what is most efficient and what isn't, and actually focus your attention on the stuff that is efficiently, logically going to make you cash. And if there's a barrier to you where you're like, well, I don't like speaking to people, you've got to overcome it. Like, I'm sorry, like, how much do you want this? Do you want this enough for you to feel uncomfortable for just a little bit, for you to actually start feeling comfortable in something that you don't know? Like, ask yourself that. How much do you really want this? Like, are you like looking at someone else who doesn't do cold DMs, maybe a guru, actually, and they're giving you advice to tell you not to do it? Yet you're literally watching someone right now who generates thousands. We've just literally had a $35,000 month in September, and that's probably going to be $41,000 by the end of tomorrow. And ultimately, everything that starts off in my business starts with a cold DM. Like, literally, let that sink in. Where are you at in your business right now? And what are you specifically doing? Because no matter how you want to tart this up, right? If you're not generating results in an industry that's called making money online, then your brand is suffering because you look like everyone else. Your content is suffering because you sound like everyone else. Your income is suffering because you're not generating any. And that is a problem. All of those elements of what you're doing to generate that cash is the problem. Do you understand? And don't take this as anything other than complete passion of ensuring that people do the right things. You could be creating content today as someone who hasn't generated cash or just getting sporadic results here or there, and you can feel really good about yourself. That's great. And I want you to feel good about yourself. But ultimately, we're in the business of making money. So if you just think this is all about just giving value, then you're just not going to make cash. Like, this isn't just about giving value. This is about speaking to a cold audience, nurturing that audience, making them offers that people pay for, because otherwise you are not making a profitable business. And then you can't help anyone. What expert are you if you're not making money in your business in an industry that's called making money online? Like, look at how many programs are pitching the same stuff. Call them fundamentals, you can call them whatever you want, but they're pitching the same stuff. Like, they're literally pitching, brand yourself on a social platform, start creating content, even though you haven't generated the outcome yourself, start pitching products that haven't made you any money. And they wonder why people don't take people seriously. Yeah, you might get a whole bunch of engagement, but it's not meaningful engagement if you're not making money. Like, I hate to come across in a way where it's like, it's all about money, but it's all about money. Like, if your business ain't generating sales, you are not running a business anymore. You're running a failing business. And we can we can tart it up and make it seem like, look, it's, I'm just here to help people. I'm in no rush. Like, cool. Like, it's great to have patience. Like, you have to have patience. But in the affiliate marketing space, your audience want to change a circumstance in their life. Yet they're told to do things that I believe they haven't generated the credentials and the credibility around in order to do those things efficiently. Hey, you're watching content of mine today, right? So I love content. Hey, you would have seen me grow my brand if you've watched me for any amount of time. I've got time for branding. Hey, you probably have clicked on a free offer of mine and gone through a funnel. You've probably seen emails of mine. Hey, I like funnels and emails. What I don't like is the timeline in when people are taught to focus on those things. Because funnel building, email marketing, branding, creating content, those are 4 skills which have multiple different micro skills in. And when you haven't generated cash, you haven't got the credentials or the credibility around you. And people know that. They might not say it to you personally, but they know that you ain't generating cash. You can talk about your mega link all day long, but people can tell. Like, the reason you aren't creating content like I'm creating content today is because you haven't got the experience and the result. The reason you're listening to me today about this is because I have. You wouldn't see me recording this video, speaking with this passion and confidence when I hadn't generated a result. The reason I'm talking about it is because I'm a multiple 6-figure marketer who's going to finish this month on just above 40K. That's the reason you're hearing from me and I'm talking like this today. You wouldn't hear me create this content if I hadn't generated the results. So why create any content when you can have a more efficient process through speaking with DMs, right? And just to be clear, right, I'm not talking about any DMs. And yeah, I've got stuff to sell, right? Because my stuff rocks and it gets people's results, because my method and my business model is strong enough where people don't even need to close the sale themselves. People generate the leads. So like for you as an example, you do cold DMs, you go into my program, you learn how it works, because I teach you, I'll give you examples of conversations, I give you unlimited direct support. So there's literally no way you can fail. You have to go and do the work. But when you generate leads, those leads come to me and I follow up with them. So your leads get to see my content, they get to see my emails, they get to get around my established brand, they get to receive my DMs, right? And that's how we can close them more efficiently and quickly. Then when you're at a right point, then sure, we can talk about you creating your own brand, your own content at that point. Once you've generated cash flow. Cash flow is number one. Cash flow is number one, guys. Do not let anyone else tell you otherwise. Cash flow is number one. And I also think like there's a bit of a shift people need to make with ego a little bit. I think there's a bit of an ego that surrounds having your own brand, referring to yourself as like a founder or an owner of something, you know, speaking to friends and family and saying you're running an online business. You know, I see people on their Facebook profile, they say like CEO of whatever, you know, they've called their brand. You know, they spend money on a cover photo, you know, and to look to create this aura and this vibe around them that doesn't actually exist. I see people who haven't generated any cash saying that they can help people make money. Nope, you can't, because you haven't done it. Don't care what kind of weird way people want to acknowledge that and kind of put it into like a thing where it's like, well, no, like the thing that I'm promoting helps people make money. Yeah, that's not what you're saying. You're saying that you help people make money. You haven't made any money. And if you have, you've made sporadic numbers. I'm not talking to you personally, right? I'm just saying it about that example. That's not good enough. Like, even Alec Hormozy says this, right? He says, you know, you haven't made money online, go away and make it happen, then go and talk about it. Essentially what I did. I made DMs work for me because I knew what I was doing. I didn't have any hang-ups or friction in my mind because of my previous experience and background in sales. So believe me, when I said the first day I wanted to leave that place, it's because I wanted to leave that place and I just stuck it out. It was all alien to me. It was all new to me. I didn't like it, but I stuck it out and I became really good at it and I loved it. So I get where people are at, but like ultimately, sometimes you have to, like, you're the business owner, right? Sometimes you have to look at what someone's telling you and actually go, do you know what? Actually, it is more efficient to speak to someone one-on-one. Whilst everyone's trying to attract people, hey, those people you're trying to attract, I'm just going to go over there and speak to them. And I'm like that with everything. Like my phone, smashed my phone not too long ago, right? I was just walking to go and get my haircut. Smashed my phone, literally couldn't use it. So what did I do? I had to go to the shop to get my phone fixed, right? Which was a little way away. So I was too far away from home at that point. So I was like, I have to get a cab. Phoned a cab, but my phone wasn't working. So what did I do? Just flagged down someone who I didn't know, spoke to them, got them to give me their phone. I phoned a cab, all good. Like, that's a very normal thing for me to do in that scenario. I'll be the kind of person who'll be out and I'll just go and speak to people because I like speaking to people. So if you go like, I'd never do that. Okay, this is where you have to shift a little bit and go, in actual fact, maybe that is something I should start doing. Maybe not speak to strangers like outside, even though I'd recommend kind of getting used to that at times. But in DMs, like there's not even that friction of resistance really in that sense. You put messages out there, It's a numbers game. I know what I've got to say. I'm never giving an offer or dropping a link to someone who doesn't need it. And that's because I'm good at the skill set of evolving a conversation. That's the thing, guys. Spend like a little bit of time in DMs with one person. You find out so much about that person to then bring them into something of mine. And then I have the whole follow-up process going on to convert that person into a sale. And then guess what? Once you've done that consistently, then you can start focusing on your brand as well. Build out your content. Now suddenly people want to listen to you. So park the ego for a moment so that you can actually really focus your attention on the reason you came into this space in the first place. It's great that your community in your program is fantastic. It's great that you feel supported. But ultimately, if what you're being taught is to do the exact same thing as everyone else in terms of a brand and content aspect when you haven't generated the result, you are genuinely going to struggle because it's not the most efficient way of doing it. The most efficient way is talking to people one-on-one. You can get a much deeper insight into people from doing so. The follow-up's better, the whole lot. And when you work with me, you get to leverage my assets, my experience, and me doing the follow-up for you. And that makes all the difference. Genuinely, makes all the difference, although I wouldn't be doing it. So that's the shift you have to make in order to make a lot of money, is stop looking at direct forms of marketing, like cold DMs, as anything other than sensible, efficient, and logical. And I can back it up with a whole host of stats, not just from myself, but from my affiliates. We make money quicker and more efficiently, like through speaking to people one-on-one. It's just the nature of the business. If I go and if I knocked on every single person's door down my street, I will make more leads than the person who's holding up something going, like, follow me here. Come out of your house if you want to know how to make money online. And you know that'd be true. If I knocked on every single's door and had a conversation with as many people as possible, one-on-one, that is so much more effective and powerful than someone just holding up a sign saying, come out your house and come to me if you want to talk about making money online. I'd make loads more leads. Hey, lead flow's king. And then sales is king, but sales can't happen unless lead flow happens. So direct form of marketing or indirect form of marketing. Hey, attraction marketing or not. Guess what? If Tony Robbins went out on the street and held our sign, then people will come out through the door. Why? Because it's Tony Robbins. He's generated results. He's got himself to a place where it's like everyone knows him and his brand, and he's got the results to back it up. The average Joe down the street does not. So potentially you watching this, you do not. So how do you counter that? Because it has to be countered. Do cold DMs and have someone close your leads for you. Then at that point, you're generating cash flow, you're changing your life, right? And then from there, you can then start focusing your attention on branding, content, and you'll have your branding will be different, your content will be different, the whole freaking lot is going to be different. And when I say different, it's going to be better, it's going to be more effective, it's going to be more efficient. It's game-changing stuff, but you have to shift that mindset. You have to shift that mindset. I don't care if you've never done any form of direct marketing before. You can learn it, because I didn't know any direct marketing before. I learned it. Yeah? Don't care. You can learn it. The thing that I can't accept is someone having a stubborn viewpoint on something they've never done before. And if they have, they've not done it correct. Like, end of the day, if you are not where you need to be in your business, you can close your eyes and pretend that everything's going to be okay. And you can believe the stuff of like, just trust the process and grow it. But just take 2 steps back and look at every single other person who's doing the exact same thing as you. DMs are different because they're not scripted. DMs are different because they are actually genuinely unique to each other in so many ways. Tonally, pace-wise, things that are said. Content in this space, when you haven't generated results, all of it's the same. Everyone goes about it the same. Everyone's way of talking to people through content is the same. Everyone's branding is roughly the same. Like, it's all the same. How do you differentiate yourself? Stop trying to attract everyone that everyone else is attracting and speak to them one-on-one. That's the game. That's the shift you need to make. That's the shift I made. That's the shift you need to make. Remember, guys, in the description below, you will see a link to my virtual walkthrough of my high-ticket program, the DM Academy, where you can rock out everything that we've just spoke about. Start generating yourself some consistent cash flow in your business using my proprietary 5-step DM framework. And then from there, let's have a chat about you building out your brand, your content, the whole lot, because at that point, things will be different for you. All right, guys, much love, and I'll speak to you in the next video.